Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Sim. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. One thing that I have said to myself is that I will never, ever let another person, especially these people, tell me about my people. I know my people. I hear my people. I understand my people. And I see my people. So I know who the savages are. I know who are not savages. The fact that some people go to sleep with black people in mind and wake up also with black people in mind tells how disgusting some people's attitude is or are. But now I am going to tell you something. White women are enablers. White women enable horrible white men. Because this particular one that is always out there screaming about black people, blah, 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 is a married man. And I am sure he married a white woman. That's why every day he is screaming like an idiot. Because if he's not an idiot, he won't come out every day to be screaming. Now, let me tell you something. If black people tell you that we do not want to be in the same space with you, what will you do? What will you do? But this is how they feel. They've been saying it, they don't hide it. If there is anybody that are pretenders or anyone that is pretending, is you people. You pretend to be part of everything going on, and in the end, you go behind to sell others. Because last I checked, you all said that yeah, this election we are going to do the right decision. What happened in the end? You all are just very gullible. Let's get into this video.
One African-American drug addict dies while in police custody, and you would think that the world was burning down. But when 43 Christians are brutally murdered in South Africa by ISIS-led militants while they were at prayer time, nobody bats an eye.
I don't know how you folks close with your chin. Thanks me, I don't know, I have a chin. Hey, how you doing? In regards to the African-American dying in police custody, who's a drug addict, might I add, died because of a cardiac event. That means he had a heart attack. The police officer's knee was on his neck, and it really accelerated him to a degree where, his heart gave out. He had a heart attack. A lot of you people said, well, he was on fentanyl, he OD'd. This leads me to believe that none of you people know exactly what the you're talking about. See, fentanyl is a depressant. Unlike cocaine, when it hits the central nervous system, it tells you to get hyphy. Fentanyl hits the central nervous system and it tells everyone to be cool. Chill out, man. Then your brain's like, hey lungs, stop breathing. You don't need oxygen. The brain tells the respiratory system to stop working. And if you look at the tape involving George Floyd and the police officer, it doesn't look like his brain is telling George to shut the up and go to sleep. Saw what you did there. However, the 43 Christians in South Africa who were murdered by the Islamic State, hey man, happens. I mean, if you're familiar with the story of Job, God has no problem setting people up for sacrifice. God used 43 Christians as a side bet, shooting dice with Allah, and God crapped out. Allah had to take the 43 pieces. I mean, don't get me wrong. During slavery, that's where God was at, smoking with Shiva and Buddha. They were hanging out. So, be mindful. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Yes? Sacrifice. However, George Floyd was murdered. Enjoy your day. Hit my music.
One African-American drug addict dies while in police custody, and you would think that the world was burning down. But when 43 Christians are brutally murdered in South Africa by ISIS-led militants while they were at prayer time, nobody bats an eye. But I can't blame you. You didn't know to begin with, because the mainstream media that you worship every day didn't report this information.
The Dunning-Kruger is strong with this one. Your attempts to sound smarter than you actually are I'm just embarrassed for you. The country you're referring to is not South Africa, it was the Democratic Republic of Congo. At the very least, you think you would get the country right, but no, you weren't even able to do that. They were Christians, I believe, and they did happen to be worshiping when they were attacked by the ADF. That is the Allied Democratic Forces. And yes, they are part of the Islamic State. But the part you're leaving out is they attack all religions, and not just in the Democratic Republic of Congo, but also in Uganda. So the fact they were Christians, that's just a talking point for you. Did you not know they attack other religions too, or did you just leave that part out? It must be hard for you trying to sound smart when you're perpetually wallowing in ignorance. Aren't you the same people who say you can't just read the headlines and you're not even bothering to do that? Jesus Christ. And somehow you equate this to George Floyd being suffocated by Derek Chauvin. I take it you were equally unaware that there have been continuous wars and genocides going on in the DRC for almost 30 years. But no, you didn't know any of that. You just heard that there were 43 Christians killed in South Africa. I don't know why you think you're qualified to speak on any of these subjects. Because God forbid what you might learn if you did a modicum amount of research. Well, anyway, this has been Doc for Diesel Punk Industries. Thanks for watching, and as always, Crunchy White, Pimp Forever.
Why don't y'all just come out and say you hate white people? Just say that shit. We're not going to get offended like you think we're going to. Look, let me just point out the obvious for you. The difference is between us and y'all, we don't get offended when people are racist. Hate all the fuck you want. Just have some integrity and be honest about it. Since the subject of racism has been coming up so much lately, and I happen to be a Caucasian person, it tends to rub people of color the wrong way when I happen to have an opinion about racism or race in general. Not going to get into the obvious of where that systemic racism lies in itself, but I digress. Let's just go ahead and discuss it. Because you see, somebody told me today that I shouldn't be discussing the subject of racism because everybody knows where racism began, so I should keep my mouth shut. So let's just go ahead and discuss that. You see, the implication is that you're claiming that I can't discuss race or racism because I'm white. And by extension, my people, my descendants were the ones that first owned slaves, right? Is that what you're assuming? Well, let me go ahead and educate you because you're obviously ignorant. That seems to be a big problem today, especially in certain classes. Ignorance. The lack of information. You see, the first slaves were brought to America around 1610 by English privateers. But the first slaves in the slave trade were done by the Spanish and the Portuguese. Long before that, in the 1500s. Okay? So, go fuck yourself. Okay? That's the difference between ignorance and education. I'm so sorry I was able to actually get an education. I'm so sorry that my family cared enough about me to make sure that I had a decent education. But don't go around throwing your ignorance around thinking that you're going to do something with that. Just because you are of color and you happen to say something regarding race, it doesn't make you correct. And just because I'm white doesn't mean that I shouldn't be able to discuss the subject of race or racism in this country, because it is systemic. And let me tell you this, I've seen a lot more racism from people of color than I ever have from mine. So, it is what it is. Liberals are now protesting Trump cleaning up D.C. because that's what they do. They protest. Ooh, someone listen to me. Boo, boo. Dude, at this point, are you really surprised? Are you really surprised? These are the fucking people that tried to chemically castrate your children. Are you really surprised at this point? Of course they're going to fucking protest. Of course they're going to protest cleaning up the fucking cities. Of course they're going to do that shit. They're liberals. That's what fucking liberals do. I do not understand at this point how anybody could be a liberal. I would really like to have a very civilized and respectful conversation with any liberal that would really like to step up. Hit me in the DMs. Let's really have this conversation. Like, I really want to know why you are in such opposition of what's going on in this country, and I would really, honestly, truthfully like to know why you choose to be a member of the Democratic Party. Are you down? Like, let's have a conversation. Like, I do not understand at this point. I promise you this. I really do understand why some of you out there don't like Donald Trump. I get that. I get it. I do. I don't like this man. I don't like what he's doing with my country. I get that. I get that. 100%, that's your right. But I need to know why you're a Democrat. Please. Hit me in the DMs. Let's really have a conversation. I promise you, you'll find that I'm completely the opposite of what you think a MAGA supporter is. You know, I'll have a civilized conversation with you, but I really want to know. I need to know in my own mind if this is just a mental thing or if you really have a reason for being a Democrat, a leftist. Let's have a conversation. Prove me wrong. Don't let me come on here in a couple days and be like, well, nobody reached out. Guess the Democratic Party a bunch of freaking cowards. Hit me. Let's talk.
Complaining now that the crime is going down right now. They're complaining for no fucking reason. Like, they're little fucking screaming, they're protesting. I feel like I'm hearing this. What do we want? Carjackings. What do we want? Robberies. What do we want? Violence. What do we want? Murders.
Really? You think people are protesting because they like crime? What reality are you living in? The only people I see openly backing criminals are you guys. You put a felon in the White House. Anyways, let's put that aside and talk about DC. Let me try to explain to you why they're marching, because your reality is twisted. First of all, they see the deployment of the National Guard as overreach because crime is already trending down. If you look at the public data, violent crime is down 27% year to date. Homicides are down 12%. So the crime rate is moving in the right direction. Also, they don't want troops in their city. Who does? They want to restore local control back to DC and to protect civil liberties for everyone. You, me, immigrants who haven't broken the law and are part of the community. This is what's going on. And yes, they do want to fight crime by investing in long-term programs like affordable housing, youth programs, and community peacekeepers who de-escalate violence, keeping neighborhoods safe. That's how you fight crime. And at the end of the day, soldiers and checkpoints, they only deliver short-term gains unless they're stationed there permanently. And who wants that? And their main concern is the normalization of soldiers, policing civilians, and expanding troops into other cities. I mean, that's the kind of shit they pull in North Korea, not here in the United States, and we're not going to stand for it. And you probably would have known this if it wasn't being censored. And who do you think is responsible for that? Just take a wild guess. And no, it's not Joe Biden. I hope that helped.
White people, are y'all scared to go in black spaces? You know, I know a lot of you, and if you're like, is he talking about me? Probably. Are you scared to go in black spaces? If so, I'm talking about you. I feel like so many white people are scared to go in black spaces for stereotypical reasons, right? Whether subconscious or not. You're probably thinking, am I safe? Are they just gonna jump me? Like, I don't know what you're thinking. Like, are they gonna rob me? Like, but I don't really know like what you think is gonna happen. And I think a lot of you think, well, I'm gonna stick out like a sore thumb. You will. You're the only white person there. How do you think a black person feels when they walk into a white space? You will stick out like a sore thumb. Of course you will. Well, they look at me, baby.
This is all I got from this video. And, there are some white people, sincerely speaking, that you look at them, you know that they are mentally retarded. Unfortunately, I am not sorry to say that. Because this particular one is mentally retarded. Now, let me tell you something. This is somebody's husband and a white woman's husband. And a white woman is out there supporting this nuisance of a human being. Because, God forbid, I have someone like this as a husband. I do not support domestic violence, bullying of any type, but heaven knows. I don't know, but you see the fact that I wake up every day to some people having bad thoughts, like, not having great thoughts about you. It's really very disgusting. And also publicizing it and putting it all out there for people to see is another one. Flying the flag, that already has made me know where he stands. But the fact that if I ask this man, do you have any black friend? I am sure his answer will be no. Have you lived among black people? His answer will absolutely be no. So why the hate? Why is he hating? What is the problem? Because at this point, it is given, I am going to keep lying about them till thy kingdom come. And when you are like, the worst part is that he is not even getting any views from it. But he has to show you that he is very hateful. See, I've been saying this thing and I will continue to say it. If you are comfortable with this administration and the things they are doing to people that look like me, you are a very bad person and people should really be very wary of you. I said what I said. And this is somebody's wife, somebody's husband, I mean to say. And somebody goes to sleep with this person. Somebody probably might have a chat for this one. This is what condom should have avoided, unfortunately, but this is true. Condom would have avoided and stopped so many people from being stupid. Last I checked, I rarely see black people come out. I know black people do not like you people, and it's something they are not hiding. They just want to be on their own. And because they probably do not like you doesn't mean that you don't wake up to see them like every day screaming, shouting. But they just want to survive. They just want to live. They are not asking for any other thing, Black people are not asking for something more. Just dismantle the system. Let everybody live. Let everybody, enjoy life. Let everybody have the same thing, that the same thing that you are benefiting, that I am benefiting from it too. That is the only thing. They are not obsessed. They are not also jealous. They don't wake up. They don't go to sleep with you in mind. They don't wake up with you in mind. But you people go to sleep with black people and wake up with black people. That is how horrible it is. I really do feel sad for them. You want to ask he's asking black people, we are not going to get offended like you people think we're going to get offended. If you think you don't like us, let us know. Black people do not care. They don't like you people. It's as simple as that. They don't have any grudges or something, or maybe they still do have grudges, but the only thing they want is just for the system to be dismantled, nothing more than that. Stop all this BS that you all go around screaming and shouting. See, white women are enablers. They enable bad people, bad men, horrible people, horrible men. This particular one is part of it. And you all enabled him. I can see his band. He is married to maybe one stupid person that doesn't even know how to read and write. I am sure he didn't even go to any school, But he wants to tell me that my people are illiterate. They don't behave civil. When the real savages, we know them. We know who the real savages are. So shut up and face front. I know my people. As simple as that. Bye for now.